I'm Grant.
And I'm Bryce.
We're dimly lit.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Beats.
Beats who?
Beats me. My lovely wife Becky found that one for me tonight.
Oh, thanks, Becky.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was lousy, but...
Yeah, it was pretty lousy. She sent me like 4 different ones, and that's the one I chose. So, there you go.
I was alright. Probably your second best one, actually. I think last week's was probably the best
Yeah,
so far.
I was pretty impressed with last week's. So,
Because I actually laughed.
Yeah. I was even reminiscing about that on the way here, actually. So, anyway, what are we talking about this week?
Well, I was in hospital last week.
Oh, yeah, what'd you do?
So, I had a complete thyroidectomy.
Yeah, right.
So,
Is that the like actual term for it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my whole thyroid got cut out. So it's I was on a waiting list for like a year. So the specialist was like, you either stay on the meds you're on now, like forever, and it'll damage your liver, liver, I think, was it? Or kidney?
Probably a bit of both, wouldn't it?
Probably a bit of both. Yeah. I don't know. Are you coming over, Daisy? You either stay on those meds forever, or and do damage to your organs, or you get it cut out and manage it that way. And because my thyroid was like very overactive, it wasn't. I was on a pretty high dose, and it wasn't looking like it was going to change. So
what? Because Dad's got the same thing.
Yeah,
but like, what was yours like 4 times the dosage or something on it? Like it was pretty.
It was even more than that at the start.
Yeah, right.
It has gone down a bit, like over the years, but still pretty high.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I just listened to the specialist.
Yeah.
I had the option of doing the radiation treatment,
but
I wasn't keen on that just because of all the side effects, and it's not like you're not guaranteed to kill the whole thing,
right?
So you might only kill like 50% of it, 80% of it, and so then you've still got 20% of your thyroid doing this, So then so it's like, well, why don't just get it cut out, and then it's like more involved at the start, like you have to have a hospital stay and all that. But,
right.
But at least it's all gone. So, so that was the deal. So, but yeah, I've been on the waiting list for it for close to a year, I think.
Well, I actually forgot that you were even on the waiting list.
Yeah,
like doing it. So.
Well, I kind of did as well, but then so every 4 months or so, I'd get a message from them saying like, do you still want it done?
Yeah,
because then they can just get people off the list if people have gone about done things differently or whatever.
Yeah. Was the radiation one, was that like still under like public?
If I got the radiation, I would say it would have been the same, pretty much. Yeah. It's obviously easier to do that, but the side effects I wasn't keen on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a phone call on a Friday. Oh, actually, no. I actually thought I was getting scammed because I had missed calls from a mobile number, which I feel is kind of weird to get a call from a hospital on a mobile number. But anyway, it's like the receptionist was using her phone. Like that's what it felt like, because all the other calls I got from the hospital were from a private number.
Right.
But
that is weird.
From her, it was from a mobile. But anyway, I missed a few calls, and then she sent me a message saying, "Hi, John." I don't know if I told you this. She says, "Hi, John. Did you want to come in for your..." I can't remember what she said. Come in for your
operation
or procedure or something, she said. And I was like, this has got to be a scam. Maybe they know I'm on a waiting list, and so they're trying to get something out of me.
Yeah.
But I was like, if it's not a scam, I should probably let them know that I'm not John.
Yeah.
Because if they're trying to find John,
Yeah.
he needs his operation.
Yeah.
So I called up expecting to just say,
I'm not John.
sorry, I'm not John.
Yeah.
But she meant to say it to me. She said that she was doing two things at once. So she must have been looking at John's file while sending me a text.
Yeah.
And just gone, hi, John.
That's funny.
So, yeah, but she's like, oh, can you come in next Thursday? And I was just like, what?
That's crazy.
But apparently it happens with elective surgery. It kind of happens like that a fair bit.
Yeah, right. You'd think you'd have, I feel like a month. I would have thought you'd have like a month leading up to.
Yeah, well,
like that you knew that it was coming up, not just like a week.
Yeah, well, a lot of the pre-operation stuff involves, like it says, things like make sure you've seen your GP like X amount of days before your thing.
Yeah.
And all this. Like, I don't have time for that because it's literally next week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of weird, but apparently it happens a fair bit. But they must have different categories for different types of ops.
Yeah.
And so because mine was relatively simple, it's like they can just do it next week. It's not like it's really involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then the Monday I went down for all the, like, you have your ECG done and all your, they took blood test and all of that kind of stuff just to make sure that you're actually ready for a hospital stay.
Yeah. Did they check you for like COVID?
Yeah.
Yep.
Only not then, so not on the pre-assessment thing.
Yep.
Which I guess they probably should.
Yeah, that's interesting because I feel like if you had it on the Monday, they would have had to
just cancel it.
Yeah, and be like, yeah, you can go home.
But they did test when I went in for the thing.
Yeah.
And they wiped my bum as well with the thing.
Before they stuck it up your nose?
Yeah. So this wasn't a COVID thing, but was, so
it's like a new type of COVID.
This was after the operation, like when I was in the thing. It's just the COVID test reminded me of it because she did like a thing in my nose.
Yeah.
But it's like to check for some bacteria or something.
Oh, right.
So she's like, I need to check your bum as well. And I was like,
maybe she just liked you.
I was nearly like, you for real? So I had to roll over and they like swabbed my bum on.
Yeah, nice.
So it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it does sound weird.
But you're in hospital, so I guess you just got to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, anyway, so yeah, it was all pretty easy and straightforward. Like on the Thursday when I first went in, like I don't know how people navigate hospitals. I was sitting in the waiting room and had to get in at 7. So we're there at 7 a.m. Hardly anyone's there, and it was a public holiday.
Oh, right.
So the hospitals.
Oh, because of the Queen's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was super quiet, and this guy comes out into the waiting area and is like, "All right, come with me." And so I'm following this dude, and no joke, we went through, like, at least 6 doors with like key card access stuff, and we're turning left and we're walking like 10 meters that way, and then we're going right and then left and right, and it all looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
I was like, how do people navigate?
Yeah.
There's no signs or anything that I could see.
Imagine being a newbie and the people are just like, hey, go get the
get the guy from the waiting room.
What waiting room?
Now, is that a left, right, left, right? Or
it's like the old cheat codes on the old game.
Yeah. So yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty cool being quiet though. I think everyone was pretty chilled out.
Yeah.
Because it was quiet.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and all the nurses had like colourful things on. They do on like public holidays and stuff, just to like make it fun.
Like a PJ day.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of do look like pajamas.
Yeah,
like the scrubs when they're in like different
yeah.
patterns and stuff on them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But so I did embarrass myself once.
Mm-hmm. When you rolled over for the swab.
I was worried about that. I was like, did I wipe properly last time? But with the, you know, my history with hospitals and
nudity.
Nude. Oh gosh. Going in, I was like, that was the one thing I was most nervous about, was like when they asked me to get changed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Because I've had.
You have to be like, now, how do you want me to get changed?
Well, I had thought that in my head before I went in. I was like, all right, just ask them.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
So just ask them. Anyway, so, the nurse is doing all the usual stuff, and it gets so repetitive. Like the amount of times you have to tell someone your full name, date of birth, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going through all of that. Did the COVID test. I'm just sitting there on the bed in my normal clothes while they're doing all this, taking my blood pressure and all that.
Yep.
And then I can't remember what happened. So we were waiting on the theatre nurses, I think, to come and run through the procedure with me and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was getting looked after just by the ward nurse with all the tests and stuff. And we were waiting on the theatre nurse, I think. And she's like, did you want to wait, or did you want to get into your robe now? I'm like, oh, I might as well do it now. And so she went and did two things, but she half shut the curtain. She went and did something, come back. That might have been the COVID test, I don't know. And then she's like, all right, we'll get you into your robe now. And so then she left and shut the curtain all the way.
Yeah.
And I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I was sitting there for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to get my robe and stuff.
But
I didn't realise it was on the bed the whole time. So she's literally waiting outside with the curtain shut, waiting for me to get dressed.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, and it started to get like, is she coming back? Like, what am I missing here? I start getting like hot and flustered because I'm like, man, I'm making a fool of myself again. Yeah. And then, so I'm like, all right, I'll look around. And I'm looking around like, what? Oh, a heated blanket. She went to get me a heated blanket.
Yeah.
And so she was doing that. And I was like, well, is she getting my robe as well? Or I was freaking out. So I was like, no, I'll see it. It might be here somewhere. So I'm looking around, and it was under a blanket right next to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, man. So then I'm quickly trying to...
She comes back. She's like, man, that takes a long time to get changed.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I started taking my clothes off, and she's like, are you done? I'm like, no, we just started. Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
So did you have to get fully?
Well, I did.
Like,
yeah, but I didn't ask that.
Yeah,
because I'd gone too far into being slow.
Yeah.
That I could. Like, she shuts the curtain so I get dressed. 5 minutes later, I'm like, do I get naked? Could you imagine? There's no way I was going to ask that. So I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I need to get naked.
Yeah.
So anyway, I took all my clothes off.
It is strange that you do, though, isn't it? Like, you would think you could leave your pants on. Because it's like,
For a full op.
Especially when it's on the neck.
They've told me you can leave your underwear on.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like bras usually come off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the metal and stuff in them if they go to like.
Yeah, I thought it was a thing like, I thought it was a thing with swelling and stuff. Like if they had to, like if something went wrong, that they don't want to have to cut off your undies.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm tearing up because I'm laughing because I'm embarrassed.
But like, I still feel like it's, like I suppose it's safer to like, just, if you're okay with just going naked, it's like you may as well.
And the thing is, I know that at least one of the other dudes in there was doing that as well because I was listening.
Yeah.
I was trying to overhear what was going on in the other beds, so I could get a gauge of what I needed to do.
Right.
Because I've never done this before.
Me neither. I think I've had like X-rays done and stuff like that, and I think they did tell me though. No, I think they did tell me though that it's like you can leave your undies on, but everything else can come on. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I took all my clothes off. And then, I don't know why, because I feel like I know this, but I put the robe on backwards.
Oh, no. Grant, really?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't know why I did it, because I know they go like to the opening at the back.
Yeah.
Like I know that.
Yeah.
But Marie, what are you doing?
The camera's facing this way.
You're doing it, Becky.
It's funny because that happened on Modern Family.
Put the robe on the wrong way.
The young boy comes back out from the change room, and his sister is like, "Oh." It's like, what if you got it on? You got it on the wrong way. And he's like, I don't want people to see my butt.
I'd rather him see my willy.
Yeah. It's just funny. Like,
so, I don't know why I did it. I feel like there's a part of my brain that just self-sabotages.
it is strange though, isn't it? When you think about it. It's like pretty well everything we wear, the opening is on the front.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't they make them that they go around that way? Like,
oh, so anyway, I put it on.
Because what do they do with that when you're getting surgery? Because they don't. They're not really a low cut either.
No, so they, when you go into theatre, you lay on the bed, they untie it and they slide it out, so then it ends up just being like a light blanket over you.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did that and then tied it up. And the lady the nurse come in, and she's like, "Oh, you got on backwards, Grant? I'll give you a few minutes. You want to turn it up?"
It took so long to get changed.
Yeah,
and you did it wrong.
15 minutes to put a robe on backwards.
Then she talks to all her colleagues and she's like, "Oh, got a slow one over here."
Anyone would think I was like 80 and senile.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Marie, could you pass my hanky? It's in the pocket of my jumper. Yeah. Oh, all right, I got one here. I got two here. Oh man, I don't know. Anyway,
Was Marie with you this whole time?
nah. So Marie couldn't get past the waiting room.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Marie come into the waiting room, and then that was it. I did ask if Marie could go in.
Yeah.
But the guy was like, "Oh, there's not really anywhere for anyone else to sit
Yeah.
and all that when you're getting your checks done and stuff."
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe there's not an easy way out from where we were.
Just go right, left, left, right.
Something like that. But that's not the end of it. The embarrassment.
Okay.
So she leaves me for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Turn around.
Turn it around. So I turn it around, and then she comes in. She's like, I'll help you tie it up. And we don't want you like flashing anyone or something, she said. So she comes in and she ties the thing around my neck.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't tie the side one.
Right.
And then she's like, they're going to come for you soon. Like, if you want to use the toilet, like, now's the best time. So I'm like, yeah, I'll probably do that now. So she's like, she opens the curtain. And I knew I was, I knew
Yeah.
I wasn't tied up.
Yeah, yeah.
But I went anyway. Because it was like, I just felt under pressure.
Yeah.
And she's like, use the toilet now. So I'm like, all right, I'm using the toilet
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
As I just walked out,
Yeah.
I got my cape flowing,
Your wings
flowing behind
flapping.
me, my wings
Yeah.
flapping, with my bum
Yeah.
just exposed to the whole nursing staff on
yeah.
my way to the loo.
Why not?
She told me to go now, so I went now.
Hold it shut though.
I could have, but then it would have looked like I felt like. So
You're trying to hide something. Like, yeah,
so, yeah, that's
like you
right.
had an accident.
Yeah, so
But rather, like, you're just like, no, I'm proud. Like,
my
check my butt.
my brain just goes to weird places, and I figured I figured that it would be better to pretend like I'd forgotten
Yeah.
and be like, oh, whoops.
Oh, sorry.
Then to be walking through the hallway
Yeah.
knowing that I've got my bum hanging out and
Yeah.
I'm like trying to stop it from being
Yeah.
exposed.
Except that happens to everyone in a hospital room. So it's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Because even when it's tied up, it's not, like, actually covered. I
Yeah,
feel.
it's got potential to.
Yeah.
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 You still have to hold it, really.
So yeah, that was an experience, but
Yep.
I don't know why I do that kind of thing to myself, but
Just for the laughs.
I got
really.
through it.
Yep.
Yeah,
So you went in on it like this. So you had surgery the same day you went in.
yeah.
How long were you waiting for?
So it was. We got there at like 7.
In the morning, obviously. Yep.
And then they were probably doing those checks and stuff for like an hour or two. And then surgery, I think, took like 2 hours or something.
Yep.
So it was over pretty quick. I didn't get lunch, so it must have been kind of
Over that.
early to
time.
mid-afternoon
Yep.
when I got out. But I tell you what, like the theatre nurses and stuff, they were just so good
Yep.
at their job. It was like it's kind of interesting seeing like the stages of nurses and that you meet along the way. It's like
Yep.
you meet the nurses on like the pre-assessment thing on the few days before. And it's like, oh, these people are nice, right, and then you get to the ward nurse or whatever, and she's like, you could tell she seemed like a level above
Right.
those other ones,
Yep.
just kind of more professional or something. I mean, the other ones might do that job as well. Maybe it's just
The setting.
as it's getting more serious or whatever,
Yeah.
they get a bit more professional or something. And then you get into the theater and it's like, man, these guys are like
Legit.
top notch.
Yep.
But one thing that was nice is that they were all just so like friendly and kind of joking around and that. So like the nurses were like looking at my arm where they're going to put the thing in. And they're like, oh, you look dry, like it's going to be hard to
Yep.
get a vein in, all that kind of stuff. So they're like, oh, just pump your fist for me for a bit. So I'm doing that for a while. And then when she comes back and has a look, she's like, oh, these are fantastic. Like, and then she's like, she says to the nurse across the room, she's like, oh, check these veins out. And she's like, oh man, they're fantastic. I could throw a dart in from here. Like they're just messing around, which is really good because like I wasn't feeling stressed, but I imagine a lot of people would.
Yeah, for sure.
Be feeling stressed, and it just makes it like a nice.
I feel like some
environment.
people they would have to definitely read the person though.
They might say something like that, and then if the person doesn't respond, they won't won't continue.
Maybe I won't throw a dart.
But the but the anesthetist.
Yep. I know what you mean.
Anesthetist. He was like just the best.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't feel like I needed the level of comfort he was giving me, but it was like, man, I just feel like I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
Like he's sitting there, and they put the mask on. It's just 100% oxygen.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I was just breathing normally, and they're like, take some deep breaths. So I'm taking some deep breaths, and they're like, and it probably wasn't impressive, but they were acting impressed.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, that was a big breath. Like that was like a full liter. And then I do another one. I'm like, oh, that was like 1.1 liters. They're like, that's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I do breathing exercises. Yeah. And they're like, oh, we can tell, yeah. That was all I don't know if that's all show.
Yeah.
Just to make me feel good.
Yeah.
Or if it's true.
Yeah, it might be. Like a smoker or something would go in there. That'd be terrible.
Yeah. So. Actually, I did get from nearly every nurse that nursed me. Is that what you say? That sounds weird. Oh my gosh.
You know the
What's it?
Looked after me.
What's the term? Yeah, looked after me, I guess.
Yeah,
would probably be a
bit
better way to.
Yep. What did they say to you?
They're all like, they're all just like, oh man, you're such a good. Oh, what did they say? You're such a treat to work with.
Yeah, right.
Because they don't often get young,
Yeah.
thin, fit people who don't have any problems.
Yeah.
Like my blood pressure was perfect every single time.
Yeah.
So every time someone checked it, like, oh, your blood pressure's perfect.
Why are we even taking
Yeah, what are you doing here? But anyway, the anesthetist was.
Probably should have looked up how to say that before the podcast.
I think I put too many syllables in it, but
Isn't it anesthetist?
anesthetist,
You
Anesthetist.
don't need to say the S.
anesthetist.
Anyway,
What?
because it's cyst at the end though, isn't it? Anesthetist.
Yeah, but he's saying like.
No, I thought it was tist on the end.
Tist. Anesthetist.
Anesthetist.
We should look it up.
I don't know. I don't know how to say it clearly. I said it in front of a doctor as well.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, so they're being like super friendly, like saying how impressive my lungs are and all that kind of stuff. But then when it come time for the sleepy juice to get put into me,
The anesthetic.
the anesthetic, yeah.
No, Maggie, it's the sleepy juice.
I should have called him that. I should have
Yeah.
Are you the sleepy juice man?
He would have loved it, probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, when it come time to put that in me, I didn't do the countdown thing.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of disappointed because I was like, I wanted to fight it, you know.
Yeah.
then they could have told you how well you done.
Yeah.
So free validation.
Yeah. But he was, so I'm just laying there, and the guy's sitting there like, he like rubbing my shoulder,
Yep.
just like, it's alright, Grant, just relax, I'm looking after you, won't let anything bad happen to you, like, just like that the whole time as I'm dozing off.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, that's good work.
Yeah, because like, he doesn't have to do that.
No,
I feel like you could just be like,
I could barely
count down
talk
from
at
10,
that point,
catch you later.
and I was already like phasing out.
Yeah. So did you have any out of body experiences?
No, not out of body, but I do. I was kind of hoping to have some kind of hallucination or something.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But I do remember saying, because obviously I was still out of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Like, do they take you from the theatre to some other room before
After.
they take you to the ward? Or do you just stay in the theatre until you wake up?
Recovery.
Yeah, recovery or like...
A recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So in recovery, I think I said some things, but I can't really remember.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I had the colonoscopy
Yeah.
years ago, I remember like when I was coming to, I'm laying there, and I remember a nurse was like doing stuff on the bench or something. Do you remember this?
Maybe.
Because I was farting, like,
Oh, yeah.
which is common
Yeah.
after a colonoscopy, and so I'm laying there like
Just letting rip.
just like farting, and this nurse is over there, and she was probably just being professional, not doing anything.
She'd hear
But
it
because
all
I
the time,
don't
bro.
fart often,
Yeah.
if at all,
Yeah.
I'm there farting, and I'm going, like, I'm laughing, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Oh, man, that was a big one. Like, oh, I don't usually fart. And I could just remember seeing the back of this nurse just, like, shoulder, like she's just laughing at me. And so I was expecting something like that again.
Yeah.
Which they would get a lot, I reckon.
Yeah.
But so all I remember something happening. Someone was trying to talk to me. Maybe it was when they were just trying to wake me up, maybe.
Yeah.
They asked me to do something, and I just remember saying something like, "Oh, no way, man, I can't do that. I'm still half baked," or something. Like, that's all I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were asking me to do or what happened after that,
Yeah.
but I just remember saying that.
They would have some like amazing stories. The
Yeah.
nurses, like hilarious stories.
Like the nurse who did, like when I had the colonoscopy, like,
yeah.
could you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, there's this guy farting. He's just like apologizing
Yeah.
for all the farts.
Uh,
Yeah. So, yeah, no hallucinations or anything.
mm.
Yeah, it was a pretty good experience. And then I think there was a mix up in where I was meant to go.
Right.
Because I went to ICU.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I wasn't meant to be there.
Right.
And heaps of the nurses, like, because I got there not long after I was there, I needed to go to the toilet, and the nurse was like, if you want to get up, you can.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I might like see if I can walk. Standing up was difficult, like,
Yeah.
to start off with, but once I was vertical, then I was fine. And so, like, I walked down the hall, went to the loo, walked back, and some of the
Were you
nurses...
tied up that time?
I hope so. I probably didn't check at that point. But then some of the nurses, like, I could overhear him. I was like, what is he doing here? He doesn't need, like...
Oh, right.
Because I was so
Yeah, up and around.
healthy.
Yeah. Is the intensive care where you get taken after surgery? No?
you go to recovery
All right,
first.
so there is recovery.
Yeah.
But so you went from recovery to intensive care to your normal ward room.
No, I stayed in ICU and was just discharged from ICU,
Oh.
which never happens.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because, like, even to get out was an ordeal. Because it's like
Yeah,
the paperwork was wrong. I was in the wrong
Yeah.
place. And so the normal guy who would normally do my prescription and stuff couldn't do it because I was wrong in the system.
somebody just got the directions wrong. Probably.
Yeah.
Just dropped you off there.
I can't find the ward. Can you got a spare bed in the
Yeah,
ICU?
just stay there.
So I got like looked after probably more than I should have.
Yeah,
But I feel like there might have been. I remember the nurse telling me like before theatre, there was something checked on my sheet.
right.
She's like, that's not normally checked.
Oh,
And she said it looked like someone had just gone like tick, 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 tick,
oh yeah.
and not really thought about what,
Those meant. Or something. Yeah.
or if it was necessary.
Yeah.
But the doctor seemed fine with it, and even the ICU doctor, like the nurses seemed a bit weirded out by it, but the ICU doctors were, like they seemed fine with it, like
Yeah.
it was kind of more normal. But maybe they were just being friendly, like, well, you're here now, let's
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
Um,
What do they check like once the surgery's done? Like did they have to do a check?
well, so every
afterwards?
2 hours they check my
Blood
blood
pressure.
pressure.
You
They
still had a drain hole.
Oh, that's
I still
right.
had the drain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just like excess fluid or blood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And they have to like check that it's not too much. Or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So, and then, because there is risk of bleeding.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling what might happen sometimes is maybe they take you to ICU for like the rest of the day and then take you to a ward for the night,
Right.
but that didn't happen.
Maybe because like you were up and about
They were just
quicker
weirded
than
out by it.
expected. They were just like,
Yeah,
maybe we'll just let him go home.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, but it just felt like I wasn't meant to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they check your pupils, they check your temperature,
Yeah.
they checked like sugar levels in my blood with
Okay.
the prick thing.
Yeah.
That's when they swabbed my bumhole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But and that happens every 2 hours. Not all of it. Every 2 hours. Every 2 hours was checking the blood pressure
Yeah.
and my temperature. But I feel like that was only done because it's part of procedure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that was necessary, but maybe it is for the first few hours. Because
It
you
would
could
be,
have, like,
yeah.
a bleed or
Yeah.
something weird happen. But it was pretty... I don't know how the ICU compares to, like, a normal ward experience.
Mm.
You have hardly any nurses. And
Yeah.
Yeah. And you share rooms with people? Is that
sometimes,
common?
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I had this big
Right.
room to myself.
Maybe it was might have changed because it was a public holiday as well.
No, in the ICU, I'm pretty sure it's one bed.
Okay.
I don't think they ever share a room, and it's
Oh, probably. Yeah.
and it's usually one nurse per patient as well.
Yeah.
Because it's
Alright.
like in each of the room they have all the like big monitors and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
person in there has everything.
Yeah. All right.
Because basically it's most of the other people there are like on death's door really.
Yeah.
You're in critical
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like something could go south, and you need like critical attention.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have like, my own room and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And the nurses were good. But the nurses for us, like, they were looking after me and the guy next to me. Maybe because I was an easy one, so they kind of doubled it up there. I think sometimes they have to do 2 patients anyway, but usually in the ICU it's just one patient.
Yep.
But so what happened in ICU? Like, it's pretty straightforward, really. Marie come in for a bit. While I was, you were there when I was eating, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that go? Like,
It was hard
yeah,
because, like, swallowing was like, it was just so painful.
yeah,
So I had to just take tiny bites and just, like, chew everything until it was, like, completely mush.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they still fed you. Like, I thought it would have been, like, only, like, jelly and, like, ice cream sort of thing.
I think it's like, well, I mean, a lot of the food is just mushy.
Yeah,
like,
true.
even the lamb
Like-
stew, you could just push the lamb aside
Yeah.
and just eat, like, the carrots and
Yeah.
stuff, which is
would
just
all be-
mush.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's only pain. Like, there's not really risk of anything bad happening. It just hurts because you've had your throat cut open.
Yeah.
But the I only embarrassed myself once in the ICU, and it wasn't an extreme embarrassment like the bare bum thing.
Yeah.
But I felt really bad, and I really wanted to fix the situation, but I never had the opportunity, and it'll probably haunt me for a long time.
Yeah. That, whatever you did, it will haunt that person as well.
It probably will. He was probably so. Anyway, so for the night shift, this guy, male nurse, was on the night shift, and straight away, super friendly dude.
Yeah.
We got along really well. Like, he was young, and he'd be like, he was calling me buddy.
Oh, right.
So I was like, oh, hey buddy, how you going?
Yeah.
And every time he'd come in, he'd be like, oh, hey buddy, just gonna check your blood pressure. And then no, I feel really bad. I feel like I offended the dude.
What'd you do? Did you call him buddy back or something?
So, it's horrible. So anyway, this probably happened at about close to midnight, because every 2 hours I have to check,
Yeah.
and I couldn't really sleep very well because the guy next to me was snoring when he was sleeping, and then screaming in pain when he wasn't.
Oh, that's nice.
And he was having seizures.
Yeah, right.
Like, it got serious at a couple of points. Like, people were rushing and like helping him out or whatever. But poor fella. But yeah, about midnight, I brought my headphones so I could just watch YouTube or listen to
chill out.
music and stuff, which was good because it drowned out most. I could still hear his snoring a little bit, even with music going. Like, it was chronic. But anyway, so I was laying there just watching telly, and I was like, all right, I might try and go to sleep now. It was about midnight, and I go to lay the bed back more. And so I got my things on. I go to lay my bed back, and then I see the nurse. He saw me do that, and then he like opens the door and he's like, "Oh, Grant, don't go any lower than that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to stay at least 30 degrees
Okay.
up or whatever." So I'm like, "All right, no worries."
Shut up! I can lay back as far as I want.
and but before he told me that,
Yeah.
he opens the door and he goes, "Grant, hang on, let me try and think of what he said. I'm trying to think of the name. I think it was Braden, something like that. Braden. He opens the door, and as he's talking, I like take my headphone off, and he goes, "Just checking. Would you prefer to be called Braden or Grant?" And I was like, "Grant." And it's like, "All right, just don't go any lower than that. Just stay at least 30 degrees up."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, yeah. So I put it up a little bit more, and I go about my TV watching. He asked me if I was okay with him calling me Buddy.
Oh, right.
He goes, would you prefer to be called Buddy or Grant? I'm like, Grant?
How dare you call me Buddy?
Yeah. It's like, come on, man. We're not friends. Don't call me Buddy.
How dare you?
How dare you? And so then I'm like, oh no, I love him calling me Buddy. But I was
And then
like,
when he walks in, he's like, "Hi, Grant. How you going?"
no, but the funny thing is, from then on, he started calling me bro.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was glad that he ended up calling me bro,
Yeah.
and not Grant.
Well, he might have even realised that you didn't really hear what he said either.
Maybe, yeah. But oh man, I felt so bad. I was like, here's this night shift nurse doing the best he can, being friendly to everyone. Hey buddy, how you going? Don't call me buddy.
We're not buddy.
Oh, I felt really bad.
He's probably still not being able to sleep because of that.
But no, I was glad he called me bro after that,
Yeah.
at least. So,
Made you feel a bit better.
but I think that was the only embarrassing thing that happened to me in
I see you.
in the ICU, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, getting out the next day was like, they did tests and stuff in the morning, and they were like, yeah, you're right to go. And then the nurse was like, oh, did you want to like once the doctor comes and runs through everything with you, like you'll be right to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, can I get like dressed now?
Yeah.
Ready to go. And she's like, yeah, you could do that. So, and I think because I was in ICU, never went to a ward, like they just didn't finish me off properly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they left and shut the curtain. And so then I go to start getting changed, and all my ECG things were still on.
Oh, right.
And so like I peeled most of those off. I forgot a couple. So I ended up getting home with like ECG stickers on me.
That's funny.
And then, so I did all of that. And then, but they didn't wash any of the
Orange stuff off.
off, all that. Antiseptic, yeah. And I think they're meant to do that because then it was so funny. Like I got dressed, packed my bag, went out the door, and I'm standing there, and I could see him at the end. Like the nurse who was looking after me was talking to the main nurse or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, he's like ready to go." And she looks down and she's like, "Is that him?" Because I was just some average dude just standing there like, "Yep, ready to go." Which just wouldn't happen in the ICU.
Yeah.
So all the nurses were just like, "What the heck is this dude doing?"
Yeah.
And I overheard him say something like, "Have you washed him down?"
Yeah, right.
And she's like, "No, I don't know why she said she didn't do it, but so I was, yeah, it was just weird."
Yeah.
What was that?
He's fit and able.
Yeah, he can wash himself. Yeah, so it was a little bit awkward, and then she's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm ready to go," and they're like, "Oh, you can't leave without someone here."
Oh, right.
They can't let me leave.
Yeah.
Marie has to come and get me.
Yeah.
So then I had to wait until Marie come in, and Marie
Yeah.
couldn't find a park for like
Yeah.
an hour or something.
That's a Royal Adelaide.
Yeah. So I ended up just sitting there in my full get up, just in the ICU, just waiting for ages. But overall, it was like really, really good
Yep.
experience.
You'll have to show our viewers the scar.
Yeah.
If you got a picture of it.
I'll put a picture up of the scar
Yeah.
with the face.
Yeah. With the face.
Yeah. Yeah, and recovery's been good. Like,
Yeah.
or even the day I got out, went down the street and went out for lunch, ate a burger. Didn't eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I hurt too much. But got home and got on the mower. It was like mowing me out. I felt so good. But then I wasn't. Like, I felt good.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I had a lot of energy. But I just hadn't
Yeah.
rested enough.
Yeah.
And so then Sunday night, I was just like,
Wiped
pooped.
out.
Yeah. So then Monday and Tuesday, I spent most of the day just snoozing on the couch. Just
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like I needed to, but my body did need it.
Yeah.
But now I feel right as rain. I'm like, yeah, it's all healed up. I only wear this now just so that my clothes don't irritate it
Yeah.
when I'm doing stuff.
Yeah. The scar's definitely bigger than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it's lower than I thought it would be.
Right.
I was expecting it to be
Like up there.
a couple of centimeters higher.
Yeah, right.
And
It'd
then,
be a very gross surgery to watch.
yeah,
Like the things that you like, because your throat's full of, well, your neck is full of stuff. There's
Yeah.
there's a fair bit going on in there.
heaps of blood vessels,
Yeah.
like high, yeah. And yeah, I was expecting it to be kind of,
Yeah.
just about as wide as Adam's apple type
Yeah.
situation, but yeah, it's super wide.
Maybe yours was extra large. That's why it was overpowered.
It was only a little bit big.
Yep.
Sometimes they can,
Yeah.
sometimes they can get quite enlarged.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine was not too bad.
Not too bad.
They did. I don't know if I told you this. They I lost one of my parathyroids.
What's that?
I don't really know.
Oh.
But I did. The surgeon did tell me like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like I learned all this stuff a year ago.
Yeah,
I've forgotten
right.
it all.
Yeah.
And so that's where like some people have said, "Oh, do you know blah blah blah?" And it's like no, but I know I did know it, and I was okay
Yeah.
with it. Like
Yeah.
the risk of losing one of them.
Yeah.
So I lost one of those just because they're so close to the thyroid, and they can kind of be like
Okay.
joined a little bit,
Right.
kind of thing. So cutting it out is really hard. It can be really hard, and so it has something to do with calcium,
Mm-hmm.
making calcium. So I'm on like calcium supplements
Right.
until the one that's left makes up for the one that I've lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The body's a crazy thing, isn't it?
It's kind of scary.
Yeah. It's like, just to change subject a bit. Well, not change of subject, but a friend of ours, they were telling us that his wife was pregnant and she at week 34, right, she had pregnancy induced liver disease.
What?
And if like she was drinking 10 liters of water a day
Whoa.
and still being thirsty and losing weight.
Oh.
Just vomiting the whole heap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the only way to fix it is just take the baby out.
Wow.
And then the liver fixes itself straight away.
What?
Yeah. But
That's
it's like,
weird.
and luckily it happened at like 37 weeks, and they went to the doctors multiple times and they're like, oh, it's just a bug, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then this last time, or the third time, he was just like, no, there's something actually wrong. You
Yeah.
need to fix this. And if they didn't fix it, then she would have died. And,
Yeah.
and the baby would have died as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, how crazy, like,
Yeah,
It's just-
kind of stuff's weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just lucky that it happened at 34 or 37 weeks, because that's like a full-term
Yeah.
baby anyway, pretty well. But it's just
Eh.
pretty full on.
Yeah, and I find it weird how like how you can like take out a kidney or lose like one of your parathyroids, and the other one's just like, oh yeah, I'll just do a bit more. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you even know to do a bit more?
Yeah. And isn't it the liver that can grow back?
Yeah, I think it is liver. Yeah.
Grow back?
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, that was my hospital experience.
Yeah, nice.
Hopefully, I don't need to go back in a while.
Yeah, I have never stayed overnight in a hospital. Don't really want to.
Mm.
Really?
Yeah. It's not nice when you've got like the guy next door like seizing and screaming out in pain. You're kind of like,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting here like, I feel like I could go home.
Yeah.
Like I feel great. I felt.
What are
really-
you complaining about?
I felt kind of guilty in a way.
Yeah.
but-
It's like, why are you taking up a bed?
Yeah, especially in the ICU.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Getting waited on.
Like it would be bad if I was like really unhealthy
Yeah.
and in pain, then I'm sure it wouldn't be fun.
No.
But because I was healthy, just being able to lay in a comfy bed and
Yeah.
have like a cup of tea and biscuits brought to you, it's pretty nice.
Didn't have a coffee?
Nah,
Their
it's probably
coffee-
just instant.
Yeah, their coffee would be pretty.
I didn't
pretty rubbish.
didn't even cross my mind.
Nah.
I'm not going to give that a go. Goodness.
Do you have sugar in your tea?
No. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, thanks for the chat.
Yeah. I'll see you next time.
Will do.
Now I've got to get Daisy off of that.
Good luck to you.
Look at her.